Hey everybody, wanted to do a quick review today on the SK2 Broadhead from SIK. This is a nasty little broadhead that a lot of the guys have been using. I've seen a lot of videos and a lot of photos of the damage that this thing has done. So it's a little different than most of your mechanical broadheads. Instead of a collar or an O-ring, it actually uses what's called a flight lock. If you can see the tip, that little red piece, that little red clip, it's a patented flight lock system, and it holds the blades on the very top. So I'm a big fan of mechanical broadheads. I've come to really enjoy using 2-inch cut broadheads from a lot of major manufacturers. After seeing this, and again seeing the damage that it's caused, I wanted to check it out for myself. I've never shot these, so I wanted to see how it worked in the field. So the closest I can come to that is down in my backyard range. I have a Reinhard woodland buck set up with a set of hog ribs that I shot last year. Before everybody gets mad, they got freezer burned. The vacuum seal actually went bad in them, so they were completely freezer burned and kind of dried out. So I decided to donate them to the greater good and strap them into the Reinhard here. This is not a scientific test by any means. I just really wanted to see how it's guaranteed to open, is what SIK's claiming. But again, I wanted to see how this did on flesh and bone in the field. I'm a one and done kind of broadhead guy. I don't use normally a broadhead twice, especially the mechanicals. I just want them to work when they do. So I'm going to be shooting it off of a Black Eagle Zombie Slayer. This is a 300 spine arrow. It's relatively light. It's coming in at 400 grains on the mark. Spin tested true. Everything looks good. I'm going to be shooting it out of my Athens Ridge 32. It's going to be set at 70 pounds. I got a relatively short draw length, so 27.5-inch draw, chronoed at 280 feet per second. So for you techie guys and gals out there, I'm running about 65.5 foot-pounds of kinetic energy out of it. So just to give you an idea. All right, let's throw this thing downrange. Well, it hit exactly where I was aiming. So after we do this, I'm going to go ahead and do a flight test to see if they're patterning with my field points. But let's go ahead and check out and see the damage that's done. All right, guys, here's the aftermath. This is the front side of the ribs, the way I had it mounted to the deer. So overall, pretty impressed. As you can see, it did break through ribs on both sides. So I know there was no hide attached to this or anything, but initial contact was right in between two ribs. Both ribs did break where the broadhead made contact, cutting through both of them. So you can see where the ribs were splintered and went through. The middle, where you get that lightning bolt effect and that real big tip and ferrule, you can see it made a real large hole. We flip it over here. Stretch this out. The hole itself is pretty legit. This was from processing, I assume, because that was on there when I hung the meat. But you can see rib bone. It did break through both sides. As far as the broadhead goes, the tip is in really good shape. It doesn't appear to be bent. No chunks missing or anything. Now the blades, if you can see, the blades are slightly bent. You see right there, they are slightly bent. Going through bone, that's something we see a lot with mechanical broadheads. Now I, for one, would much rather them bend as they're going through and around bone than shear off. So I do enjoy a broadhead that does that. I don't want them to break off, especially on initial contact, because you lose the blade for the rest of the way through the animal. So overall, very impressed. The one thing I did find was pieces of that red flight lock, the clip that holds the blades together. I did find them right on the front half of the meat. So Just be cognizant of that if you do use these. Look for that flight lock. You don't want to get ground up. More than likely it's going to be on the outside of the hide of the animal, and if it's on the inside, when you field dress the animal, it'll probably go off. But pretty legit. Good 2-inch cut. So I'll be taking these out in the field this week. More pictures and video to come.